support the presidential committee. Some of it was used to set up the National Vaccine Institute itself. Some of it has been used to support various training programs that we have already started. And then we've also facilitated the establishment of the 2 vaccine manufacturing plants. The Atlantic Life Sciences was actually established under 1D1F program. And also we're looking to support the DEK Vaccines Limited. They've also got some support from the European Union. So there are various financial packages that we are looking at putting into place. Recently, the EU announced the 32 million euro program to support pharmaceutical manufacturing in Ghana, especially focusing on vaccine manufacturing. And that program was launched in June this year.
Are we manufacturing any vaccines at all as we speak?
I think you'll hear that from Eric. So we have a program which is looking at research and development, manufacturing, and then also this particular program we are doing, which is to educate the public on the efforts we are making towards having safe and effective vaccines for our people that will be made in Ghana.
Well, you've mentioned Eric twice already, so I feel compelled to bring him into the conversation. So perhaps I'll put this next question to you then. Is there any vaccine on the market with that proud Made in Ghana label on it yet?
As at now, no, but we're in process.
How close are we to
almost? As you said, Atlantic Life Sciences, one of the manufacturers. They are supposed to manufacture vaccines and then immunoglobulins. That's anti-snake. As I speak now, they've submitted their registration batches for the anti-snake, and it's undergoing review. We just, vaccines and immunoglobulins are quite complex, and the tests take quite some time. The test has been completed and the results are being evaluated now. So as I can tell you that the application is with the FDA, is being evaluated, and very soon the results will come. It's only after the product has been approved before they can get onto the market. But as of now, they're undergoing the
until 2020, even for the FDA, which regulates our food and anything we consume space, making sure it's safe. Vaccines was never on the table for the FDA when it comes to our own local production. Yeah. What has changed at the FDA since this announcement post-COVID, and how has it helped our food and drugs regulatory system?
Thank you for the question. Yeah. FDA was set up in '97. And we've been assessing and regulating vaccines all along. But then the difference is that all the vaccines that we were evaluating and registering were not imported from Ghana, but they were imported foreign. The only the change here is now that we would very soon would be assessing applications of vaccines that have been manufactured in Ghana.
So there's no new innovation, nothing new has been introduced at the FDA to make this possible?
Vaccines are quite complex products. The difference between vaccines and other therapeutic products or other drugs, I would say, is that when you manufacture vaccines, every batch of that vaccine has to be tested and released by the competent regulatory authority in that country. But previously, we were not doing that because there wasn't any company here manufacturing vaccines. You can only do lot release when vaccines are manufactured in your country. So that is the addition. And we've started building capacity. We've always been doing that, but we are intensifying our capacity to ensure that the vaccines that are manufactured here are released and they conform to standards. And then they serve the purpose of protecting public health, but not harming public health.
Public health. That brings us to Tendanis Forte. So we talk about vaccines. Do people understand what we are doing? Because you're into public health, the education. Do people know what vaccines are and what they do?
So I think to some extent, it depends on, again, we need to put this into context. So there are people who understand because they've been exposed to some education. And then there are others too who struggle to really understand the science behind vaccine development. So I think that is why we want to start this public education right from the beginning. Before we even have a product to roll out, it's important for us to really demystify the vaccine manufacturing process, help people to understand that we need their participation. Before a vaccine is developed, it has to go through different phases of clinical trials. And we need informed volunteers from the public to participate in these clinical trials. So this public education program that is going to take place tomorrow is for us to begin a series of educational programs that would help the public to understand why we need to develop vaccines. Of course, you know that we've had some history where people have complained that vaccines are imported into the country. There are always some misconceptions.
Yes, misinformation. And
yes,
it feeds public apathy.
Yes.
But I've heard a lot of experts say education is the key.
Yeah.
So when I used to use my grandma as a soundboard all the time until she died. But then I don't know who you should address. There's somebody watching who doesn't even know what a vaccine is. What is it? What does it do?
So vaccines are, so again, let's start from the public health angle. We know that in many cases we face public health challenges. There are diseases that need to be prevented. All right. So vaccines are a tool to help us prevent some of these diseases. In very simple terms, to address a lay person who may not really understand the science behind vaccines, is for the person to understand that vaccines are here. The main focus of developing vaccines is to help prevent diseases. It's not curative; it's prevention. Yeah.
I'll come to Prof again, and virologists. So you deal with these viruses a lot. Part of the myth out there is that when you manufacture vaccines, you're building a less threatening form of the disease and introducing it into our bodies so the bodies can develop some kind of protection towards it. Yes. Is that true? And talk us through how that works.
Well, it's the basis of immunity, that a foreign particle, when it's introduced into the body will recognize it as foreign and fight against it and build a natural immunity. So anytime that particular foreign particle enters the body, because of the memory that the body has, it then produces the appropriate response and eliminates the effects of any harm that that foreign particle will cause. So you actually have this coming from viruses, from bacteria. Sometimes you even have it for fungi and also for worms, okay, which are the bigger, the foreign particles that enter the body. So the vaccine theory is based on that simple recognition of the body to distinguish between what is natural part of the body and what is foreign. And that's the simple knowledge that we use to develop vaccines against bacteria, against viruses. And also, we use that also for, as Eric mentioned, the anti-snake, where we have these immunoglobulins that are produced in a large animal, such as a horse, and are then put into a human being when you get bitten by a snake. So it helps you, the initial protection against the toxin that has been introduced by the snake. So all these are innovations that have come through science. I'm very happy to mention that, for example, even though we have vaccines that have been coming from outside, for example, yellow fever 17D that is made, specifically I mentioned 17D